something faulty.
Jumping beans just had dinner.
Here we are inside the top of this Yaesu FT1000MP, and I immediately noticed this relay in the back here.
Charge their
has
batteries.
A hole pushed right through the top of it. So I imagine that's why we're not getting our antenna switching action. And notice that there's a big solder glob right there. I removed this one little RF jack so you could kind of see on here too. So it's just been thrown back together. So that looks like a hole. It's actually been melted with a soldering iron or something. I can see the movement of the relay inside. So I imagine that the plastic is probably jamming the movement. So that obviously needs to get replaced. So what I'm going to do is I'll probably cut the top of this relay off just to stop that from jamming the movement while I test this, and then move on to the next issue. And then of course when I find all the issues, then I'll order up some parts. Another thing I noticed immediately is I noticed a squirrel cage fan here. Hear that?
Trixie!
Binding on a black wire in here.
Trixie!
So whoever threw this back
Come
together
here,
didn't check anything out. If that fan
Trixie!
would have started up,
Come
it
here
would
to
have
Mama,
armored through that
Trixie. You're waving at Mama.
black wire.
Come here to Mama,
almost
Trixie.
immediately. I think that's the only thing
Trixie.
it's binding on. It could be binding on one of the end caps here or something too. I really don't know. And this is a pure example of what you get when you're dealing with non-virgin failures. This is a product of somebody else, and so is this. So now I have to fix these extra two things also. So there's just a pure example. It makes you wonder what else is haywire in here. I see lots of scratching on the wires. When I remove the screws out of the case, you can tell that they've got lots of miles on them. You can see. And the tops of them, some of them are stripped.
Come here to Mama. Maggie.
So these screws
what are you
have
doing,
been in and out of the
Maggie?
case a lot. So it makes you wonder how many times this has actually been apart. So there's just a couple of things, right? You know, just right from opening the lid, it's immediately saw that.
That's Chevy.
Because of course I'm looking at
Chevy used to be the quiet
jacks
one.
on the back of the radio. So there you have it. So hopefully that's all of the damage that I find in here. I'm hoping that none of this is there is no more damage above and beyond this point.
Bentley jumps in slow
So when I have some
motion.
more to show, I'll be back.
That's a Bentley Bear.
Okay, I've removed the squirrel cage
Bentley
boiler
Big
here,
Bear.
and it seems to move pretty freely.
Hey Maggie,
I was rubbing on this black wire here.
what are you
trying to arm a
doing?
hole through this. Another nice little thing I've seen here is
I
look at
just
this screw.
changed that
It's
P-pad.
threaded in sideways, and that's tight.
Maggie.
It's this thing was just absolutely thrown back together. Well, I should put the light over here so that I can focus on it.
You got so many
You can
toys.
see how that's just threaded in completely sideways. So it looks like all the wiring down here, there's that,
Life
tie
with
downs and stuff that are
dogs.
supposed to hold the wires in place, and these are just sticking straight up, so they've been bent straight, so nothing's been put back together properly.
Hey
The
Gary.
wires that are supposed to be in these clips are not in these clips. The clips have been delatched. That's the reason that these wires are rubbing, is because they're supposed to be, inside here, like so. And this is supposed to be clipped back together. So it was really just thrown back together. So I have a feeling that the person that threw this back together had a feeling this would never work anymore, and it was just going to be a parts radio. So I really don't know the story behind this, but it's pretty rough. So I'm going to remove the RF module right now and take a look underneath, and hopefully I don't see any more scary things. Here we are with the RF module upside down. It's just loosened off. You can see here, it's probably good that this thing actually didn't
It's a
turn
Bentley
on.
Bear.
You can see this
Slow
screw, how
motion
loose that
Bentley
is. It's not
Bear.
even tight.
Look at the
It's just
beautiful,
completely loose.
beautiful eyes. And
So,
this is
things have really
Mr.
been botched
Chevy.
back together here in a very, very quick way. So it's a really good thing that this hasn't, actually powered on. I was expecting this thing to actually be put back together properly, but I'm imagining this whole thing is just, loosely threaded back together at this point. So what I'm going to do is open up this cap and check it out inside, and I'll come back with some more. Here we are in the final
That's
amplifier
enough,
unit,
girls.
the low-pass filter unit inside this Yaesu FT1000MP, and immediately after opening the case, I noticed there's a wire
Go to
just
sleep.
floating in midair
Night, night.
here, hanging there. So I guess that's